Shocking. Your soulmate was in tears today, you won't believe why. My beloved child, stop for a moment, because what happened today was not ordinary. Somewhere, without you even knowing, your soulmate was holding back tears that no one else noticed. They smiled in front of everyone, answered every question as if everything was fine, yet deep inside, one thought refused to leave their heart: you. Don't skip, because every second of this story is leading to a revelation that almost no one sees coming. Something huge is waiting for you. What caused those tears was not weakness, not regret, and not loneliness alone. It was the sudden realization that life kept moving forward, yet one missing piece continued to echo inside their soul. Today, an unexpected moment reminded them of someone they could never truly forget, and that memory became impossible to hide. They tried to push it away, but the feeling only grew stronger with every passing minute. Then something happened that changed everything. A simple conversation, an ordinary place, a familiar sound, somehow it brought your presence back into their heart with overwhelming clarity. They didn't expect it, and neither would anyone around them. Their emotions became impossible to control because, for the first time, they admitted to themselves that some connections never disappear, no matter how much time passes. Stay till the end, because the reason behind those tears is far deeper than anyone could imagine. It wasn't about losing hope, it was about discovering a truth they had been running from for far too long. At that exact moment, they silently wondered if destiny was preparing one final chance for two paths to cross again. But this is only the beginning of what unfolded today. The tears were not the biggest surprise, they were only the first sign that something extraordinary had already started moving beneath the surface. Somewhere, decisions are quietly taking shape, emotions are becoming impossible to ignore, and answers that seemed hidden are beginning to reveal themselves one by one. Don't skip, because the next part uncovers the unexpected realization that completely changed the way your soulmate sees the future. And when that truth finally comes to light, you'll understand why today became a day they may never forget. A quiet shift began the moment they wiped away those tears, but what happened next was even more unexpected. Instead of trying to forget, your soulmate started replaying every meaningful memory over and over again. Small moments that once seemed ordinary suddenly carried a deeper meaning. A smile, a conversation, a brief encounter, each one felt like a missing piece of a puzzle finally falling into place. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The more they reflected, the more they realized that no matter how many distractions surrounded them, one thought always found its way back. It wasn't a passing emotion anymore. It had become a certainty they could no longer ignore, and that realization left them completely speechless. As the day continued, another unexpected moment made everything even more intense. Someone asked them a simple question about the future, and for a few seconds they couldn't answer. Their mind drifted toward a picture they had never fully admitted to themselves, a future where a certain person still mattered more than anyone else. They didn't say it out loud, but inside, their heart had already whispered the answer. Stay till the end, because what they discovered next changed the direction of their thoughts completely. Instead of asking whether destiny still had a plan, they started wondering whether they had been overlooking the signs all along. Every coincidence suddenly felt different, every unexpected reminder carried a new meaning, and every passing hour made that hidden feeling stronger than before. By the time the sun began to set, your soulmate understood that today's tears were not the end of a chapter, they were the beginning of one. The emotion they tried so hard to bury had finally found its way back to the surface, and now it refused to disappear. But the biggest revelation has not happened yet. There is one moment still waiting to unfold, a moment that could explain why today felt unlike any other day they have ever experienced. Don't skip, because the next part reveals the unexpected event that made everything impossible to ignore, and it may change the way this entire story is understood. Just when your soulmate believed the strongest emotions had already passed, something even more unexpected happened. An ordinary moment suddenly felt unforgettable, as if life had quietly paused to reveal a hidden truth. They couldn't explain why, but every distraction faded into the background while one question kept echoing in their heart: why does this connection still feel so real? Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The answer didn't arrive through dramatic events or loud words. It came through a calm realization that some feelings grow stronger the longer they are denied. At that moment, they understood they had been carrying this emotion much longer than they had ever admitted. As the hours passed, their thoughts became impossible to silence. Every plan they had made for the future suddenly felt incomplete, because one missing presence continued to stand out above everything else. They started imagining what they would say if destiny unexpectedly gave them one honest conversation. There would be no pretending, no hiding, no fear, only the truth they had been avoiding for so long. Stay till the end, because the next discovery surprised even them. For the first time, they stopped asking whether this connection mattered and began asking whether they were finally ready to embrace what their heart had been trying to reveal all along. Night arrived, but peace never did. Instead, a quiet hope began replacing the sadness that had filled their heart earlier in the day. Those tears were no longer only about what had been lost, they had become a sign that something inside them was changing forever. Yet one final piece of the story is still hidden. There is a reason today's emotions became so overwhelming, and that reason is about to unfold in a way no one expected. Don't skip, because the next part reveals the moment that transformed uncertainty into hope and made this day unforgettable. Everything became clearer the moment your soulmate stopped fighting their own heart. The tears that appeared earlier were never a sign of defeat, they were the beginning of a powerful awakening. They realized that some people leave memories behind, but one special person leaves a lasting impact that time cannot erase. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. As they looked back on everything that had happened, they noticed small details they had ignored before. Every unexpected coincidence, every familiar feeling, and every moment of silence now seemed connected in a way they had never understood until today. Then came the moment that changed everything. They made a quiet promise to themselves that they would no longer let fear decide their future. Instead of wondering, what if, they started believing that some stories deserve another chance. Their heart felt lighter, yet more emotional than ever, because hope had quietly replaced uncertainty. Stay till the end, because the biggest surprise has not been revealed yet. What they are about to discover could completely reshape everything they believed about this connection. The answers are closer than they have ever been, and the next step is unlike anything they expected. But before this story reaches its most unforgettable moment, one final mystery remains. Your soulmate has sensed that something important is approaching, something that feels impossible to ignore. The emotions of today were only the first chapter of a much bigger journey, and the next revelation could change everything in ways neither of you could have imagined. Don't skip, because the next part uncovers the truth behind the silent promise they made today, a truth that has been waiting for the perfect moment to come into the light. The story did not end with that silent promise. In fact, that was the exact moment everything truly began. Your soulmate walked away carrying a different heart than the one they had when the day started. The sadness had not completely disappeared, but it had transformed into determination. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. For the first time in a long while, they stopped asking whether fate had forgotten this connection. Instead, they started believing that some journeys take longer because they are meant to become unforgettable. Every passing hour strengthened that belief until it became impossible to ignore. As night grew quieter, another realization gently settled into their heart. They understood that the tears they shed were never a sign of weakness. They were proof that genuine feelings had survived every distraction, every doubt, and every unanswered question. The future suddenly looked different. Instead of seeing closed doors, they began noticing possibilities they had overlooked before. Stay till the end, because the next revelation is the one they never expected to experience. Deep inside, they felt as though life was preparing one meaningful moment that would explain why everything had unfolded exactly the way it did. They couldn't predict when it would happen, but they could no longer deny the feeling that something important was drawing closer. Before the day finally came to an end, your soulmate looked toward tomorrow with a hope they had almost forgotten existed. The tears of today became the reason they refused to give up on what their heart truly believed. But the greatest surprise is still hidden behind the next chapter. A single unexpected moment is waiting to unfold, and when it finally does, it may answer the question that has quietly followed this story from the very beginning. Don't skip, because what comes next could become the most unforgettable turning point of all. A new morning arrived, but your soulmate carried the emotions of yesterday into every thought. Something had changed inside them, and they could feel it without anyone saying a single word. The tears were gone, yet the feeling behind them had only grown stronger. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Throughout the day, unexpected reminders kept appearing, a familiar melody, a meaningful conversation, even a brief moment of silence seemed to point toward the same unanswered question. The more they tried to focus on ordinary life, the more their heart quietly returned to one unforgettable connection that refused to fade. Then an unexpected realization stopped them completely. They finally understood that they had been waiting for a perfect sign, while life had already been placing small signs in front of them all along. Every coincidence suddenly felt connected, every memory carried new meaning, and every unanswered feeling became impossible to ignore. Stay till the end, because the next discovery changes everything. Instead of fearing what tomorrow might bring, they began believing that some stories unfold at exactly the right moment. That quiet confidence replaced the uncertainty that had filled their heart only hours before, and for the first time, they smiled through emotions they could not explain. But the journey has reached a point where nothing can remain hidden forever. One final piece is moving into place, and your soulmate can already sense that a meaningful chapter is about to begin. The tears, the memories, the silent promises, and the growing hope have all been leading toward one unforgettable moment. Don't skip, because the next part reveals the unexpected event that makes your soulmate realize this story is far from over, and what happens next may become the moment they remember for the rest of their life. For a while, everything became strangely quiet. No dramatic events, no unexpected messages, no obvious signs. Yet deep inside, your soulmate could feel that silence was preparing something greater than words could explain. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. The more peaceful everything looked on the outside, the louder their heart became. They realized they were no longer trying to escape their emotions. Instead, they were finally listening to them. Every doubt that once held them back slowly faded, replaced by a calm certainty that this story was not meant to end where everyone expected it to. Later that day, an unexpected thought crossed their mind and refused to leave. They imagined what they would do if destiny suddenly placed the right opportunity in front of them. Surprisingly, the answer came instantly. There would be no hesitation this time. No pretending that the connection meant less than it truly did. Stay till the end, because the next revelation changes the entire direction of this journey. For the first time, they understood that waiting forever was no longer an option. Their heart wanted honesty, courage, and a future built on truth instead of unanswered questions. That realization filled them with a quiet confidence they had never felt before. As the evening came to an end, your soulmate looked toward the horizon with hope instead of fear. The tears from that unforgettable day had become a turning point, not a painful memory. They could finally see that every emotion had been leading them toward a deeper understanding of what truly mattered. But one final chapter remains hidden. Don't skip, because the next part uncovers the unexpected moment that brings everything together, and it may reveal why this entire journey unfolded exactly when it did. Everything that had happened until now was only preparing your soulmate for one unforgettable realization. As they stood alone, lost in thought, they suddenly understood that the tears from that day had never been about pain alone, they were about awakening to a feeling that could no longer be hidden. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. For the first time, they stopped wondering whether this connection was real. Instead, they began asking themselves why it had taken so long to recognize what their heart had been whispering all along. Every memory now carried a different meaning, and every moment of silence felt like it was leading toward something extraordinary. Then came the most unexpected shift. Instead of looking back with regret, they started looking ahead with hope. They realized that fear had stolen enough time already, and they no longer wanted unanswered questions to shape their future. Stay till the end, because the next revelation changes everything. A quiet confidence settled into their heart, telling them that some stories are written slowly so they become stronger with time. What once felt impossible now seemed closer than ever, and they could feel that life was gently moving pieces into place, even if they couldn't yet see the complete picture. But the journey is not over. In fact, the biggest surprise has been waiting until the very end. There is one final truth your soulmate has not fully discovered, and when that moment arrives, every tear, every memory, and every silent promise will suddenly make perfect sense. Don't skip, because the next part reveals the powerful conclusion that ties every hidden clue together and explains why this emotional day became the beginning of something neither of you expected. The final pieces were quietly falling into place, even though your soulmate could not see the entire picture yet. Looking back, they realized that every tear, every unanswered question, and every silent moment had been guiding them toward a truth they could no longer deny. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Their heart no longer searched for reasons to hold back. Instead, it searched for the courage to embrace what it had been feeling all along. The fear of uncertainty slowly disappeared, replaced by a quiet confidence that some connections are meant to grow stronger with time rather than fade away. Then an unexpected feeling settled over them, a sense of peace they had not experienced in a very long time. It was as if they had finally stopped fighting against their own emotions. For the first time, they believed that every delay had a purpose and every twist in the journey had prepared them for something meaningful. Stay till the end, because the biggest revelation is closer than ever. They understood that true emotions do not need constant proof to exist. They simply remain, patiently waiting for the right moment to be recognized. That realization changed the way they looked at yesterday, today, and everything that could still unfold tomorrow. As the night came to a close, your soulmate quietly smiled through the memories that once brought tears. They knew this story had not reached its destination yet. In fact, the most unforgettable moment was still waiting just beyond the horizon. One final truth remains hidden, and when it is finally revealed, every emotion from this journey will come together in a way no one could have predicted. Don't skip, because the next part brings the powerful conclusion to this extraordinary story, and it may completely change the meaning of everything you've heard so far. Everything finally became clear. The tears your soulmate shed were never a sign that they had lost hope, they were the moment their heart finally accepted a truth it could no longer hide. They realized that some people enter your life for a season, but one connection has the power to leave a permanent mark on your soul. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Looking back, they understood that every coincidence, every memory, and every unexpected emotion had been quietly leading them toward this realization. Nothing had been meaningless. Every chapter had prepared them for this very moment. As they took one last look at everything they had experienced, an overwhelming sense of peace replaced the uncertainty that once filled their heart. They stopped asking why life had taken so many unexpected turns and started believing that the journey itself had shaped them into someone ready for a meaningful new beginning. Stay till the end, because this is the revelation that changes the entire story. The tears from that unforgettable day were not the end of a dream, they were the beginning of a future they had finally found the courage to believe in. Hope became stronger than fear, and confidence became louder than doubt. Now the story rests with one simple truth: some emotions become unforgettable because they reveal who truly matters. Whether the future unfolds sooner or later, your soulmate has already experienced a change that cannot be undone. Their heart is no longer searching for answers, it is ready for whatever tomorrow brings. And perhaps that is the biggest surprise of all. The tears that seemed so heartbreaking at the beginning became the very reason they discovered a deeper sense of hope, reminding them that every meaningful journey begins with a single moment